You might be thinking, based on the title of this video, is this guy colorblind or has he been smoking something? Well, I'm neither colorblind and I haven't been smoking anything funny either, so don't worry. But the point of this video is actually to help, point some awareness on an interesting aspect of life that is quite often overlooked, which is what our own consciousness can do for us. So when the title says that those apples in the thumbnail are not green, well, overall people would probably agree that yes, they are green apples, unless of course someone is colorblind or perhaps on some drugs. Things look a little different under those effects on the mind and body. But in this case, what I really want you to understand is that we as a human race have certain things agreed upon, where if you take this word or color green, we have decided to agree upon calling it green. Because if everybody had their own idea about a color, well, you can imagine how chaotic it would get if everyone just made up their own minds to make up their own minds about, well, this color to me is going to be blue, and while to others it's going to be green, and to that person it's going to be orange. And you see, that doesn't really work that effectively as a race, as a whole, and there would be too much chaos. So basically the words we use to describe something overall is just to have a common understanding about something we physically observe, even though sometimes it might deviate a little bit, again, as we mentioned, due to being perhaps colorblind. I don't know what that's like. I tried to look it up online. It's still a little vague and mysterious to me, but people who are actually colorblind might be able to confirm, but I have no idea if they are actually subscribed to my channel, so maybe we'll never hear from them. But the point is, we have a universal agreements upon many aspects of life. But the interesting part is that there is no human agreement concerning the potential that you have within yourself. There's no true agreement on what you could achieve. So in other words, because we're so used to agreeing on many things in our lives, then what happens for most people is that also their dreams are going to be measured based on what they think society thinks of it. What their friends think of it, what their family thinks of it. They're looking for confirmation from other people that they would say, yes, I think you can achieve this. Yes, you can do this. You have the talent, you have the ability. You can totally do this. But the problem is, a dream that you have, that I have, first and actually mostly exists within us, in ourselves. So even if you ask your friends or family, they never have a true understanding of what your dream is about. And likewise, if they tell you about their dream, you don't have the 100% copy and understanding of their dream. You might get some idea of it if they explain it well. And if you were to explain your dream well to others, they might have some idea about it. But because we're so used to also living in a world where we are in agreement about how things are, and then what happens is that since you're dealing with something that is first invisible within your own consciousness, you can never find confirmation out there from other people about your dream necessarily. You can only find hints, perhaps, if you study the right people with similar lines of work. Well, you could find hints on how you could go about achieving your dream because it's similar as theirs, and perhaps they have talked about how you could achieve your dream based on how they achieved it, so they have the experience. But this is the interesting part in life. Your consciousness, especially concerning your own potential and the dreams you could achieve, are totally in your own control. You give meaning to your own existence. That's what this is all about. By understanding that these apples are not green, it's just symbolic to try and get your attention to another point altogether, which is that you yourself can make up your own mind about what your life is about. You can give meaning to your own existence the way you want. You don't need society to agree on that. So if you have a dream, you don't need other people to believe in you. Although usually that's what we want. We want other people to believe and be happy and excited for us. But ultimately, the power to achieve anything happens within ourselves. It comes from within. So that is why you want to understand that you yourself are going to give meaning to your own goals and purpose in life. And as you do so, that's when that power within you causes it to become a reality. It causes you to walk in the direction of your own dream and make it a reality. So people might totally be in a disagreement about your potential. You see, some people say, yeah, he or she can totally achieve their dream. Somebody else be like, no, I don't think they can do it. They suck. They're bad. What they do is stupid, etc. I mean, it goes all over the place. Then you have perhaps a third person that says, I don't know if they can or can't. I mean, I don't really care. Whatever they want to do, they should do it. I don't care. You have that person as well. So ultimately, you see, it's good to have agreement on many things, physically speaking, in order to keep things balanced and less chaotic. But what we're really getting at is that when we do this for our dreams, well, then we walk the risk of never really achieving anything. And that's sadly where most people live. They let everything depend on how things already are. But in order to achieve a dream, you have to go beyond what already is in order to create what could be. And what could be is dependent upon your own state of mind. So therefore, I will not I'm not suggesting that you should change the basic structure that we have agreed upon around, in the sense of purposely describing colors differently than we know that we would all accept the color for what it is. So you do those things, you keep that in mind, of course, in order to not create all this conflict. But then look at yourself, look at your own dreams. Are you letting your potential depend upon what society as a whole agrees upon what's possible? So society as a whole might not know that imagination creates reality. Are you therefore accepting that as the truth? Or in that sense, are you learning to use your own mind individually for these activities in your world? Because this inner power, this imagination, you don't have to be in agreement with anyone on what it can do. You simply apply it and then it will show you what it can do. That's the beautiful part. If you really understand this, then you know how to walk away from the hypnosis of the masses that all try to work in agreement with each other, when in reality our individual dreams might be as different as night and day from the guy next door. And that is totally fine. That is what makes life beautiful and interesting. That is how it is revealed that all of you are sons and daughters of God, you could say, expressing their own uniqueness in this world if they let it. Sadly, we are not letting it, because we're so boxed into the structure of society that we also let our dreams be boxed in with it. You see how subtle this is? But if you start to understand it, you can break free from it and you can decide for yourself, what is my life going to be about? What meaning am I going to give to this existence that I'm experiencing? Yes, I will try and follow the law as much as I can. I will not hurt anyone on purpose. I will at least be a nice and kind human being within society, with the rules that we have set, okay? But I also have dreams, and I know that if I express my dream because it's such a passion, I will be happier. I will be a more productive person in this world, and because of that, it will have a positive influence on everybody around me as well. Because a person full of passion is, generally speaking, more positive, more optimistic. And optimism is something we all prefer over pessimism. Do you like being around someone that's pessimistic? Probably not. Well, you might be kind enough and compassionate enough to at least listen to them for a little bit. But if this were to go on every second of your day, and then days and days, weeks and weeks in a row, eventually you would tire of it, because part of you knows that life is about expansion and fuller expression, about expressing more of your own uniqueness. And that's the beautiful part about living like this. You no longer let race ideas, as we said in the previous video, control you. Because race beliefs might say about everybody that they're all the same, but they're not. We're not all the same necessarily. We all have different dreams. They might be similar. The problem, though, is that in that agreement of how reality works, we also automatically apply it to our own inner potentials that have no limits, that have no boundaries, really. It's like Bob Proctor would say as well. Nobody can tell you what you're truly capable of doing. So why are we putting all these labels on ourselves, these doubts and worries of limitation? We don't have to do that at all. You create your own meaning to life and you start assuming, as Neville would say. You assume that something is true for you, that you have realized a certain goal, even though the entire world would think that you can never do it. But you assume it and you let it become a reality. You keep it simple, you just assume it walk in the feeling as if it is true, practice that, and keep living from that state, and everything that needs to happen will happen. That will happen automatically. Because again, as the Bible also said, things that appear were made of things that did not appear physically speaking at first. And that's how it will go for your dreams as well. So I hope you understand some of the points I was trying to make through this video, which is to simply break free from the hypnosis of the masses. So we are in agreement that these apples on the screen can be green, yes. I mean, unless again you're colorblind or you're on drugs right now, you see reality in a really unique way, let's put it nicely. But again, we don't have to be in agreement about your potential as humans. That is something between you and God. That is a secret between you and the universe. And that secret can be revealed by you making assumptions about what you're capable of doing and then letting it influence your behavior, your whole life. It will start to reflect different and better and greater things about you in your world. And then ultimately, if it becomes a physical reality, then people will be in agreement that apparently this is the case. You see, it starts inside of you on an invisible level, and then you bring it out into physical reality as a visible result. And that can only happen if you yourself are in harmony with your dream, and no longer let it depend on what anybody else thinks about it and what they think you could do. That's the beauty of it all. And I hope you will experiment with this till you go through your day. And you were raised not believing in yourself. Well, now you realize, but I can think anything I want to think. I can assume anything I want to assume about myself. This is an area in life that I do not have to be in agreement upon with other humans around me at all. Because the things that we are in agreement about already exist physically speaking, but your dreams exist non-physically speaking at first inside your own consciousness, and there the rules are different. There it's all about your assumption about yourself, your self-image. What do you believe and feel that you could achieve? And don't let it depend on what you were taught by people that perhaps doubted in you, because that's what most people do anyway. They doubt in themselves and others. You learn to understand that you have a power within yourself that allows you to think whatever you want to think, so now make up your own assumptions and meaning to your own existence. Give it meaning. Give yourself wonderful purpose and meaning for being alive. You can do that. You have that freedom. Now start exercising that freedom and see how it lifts you up out of the limitations of your current existence. It will bring you to a greater reality. It will improve your life. Literally. It will help you realize your objectives, whatever they are.